Hello. Welcome again to Author of the Month. My name is Brandon, a paraprofessional at the Missouri City Branch Library. The author this time is Malcolm Gladwell, who writes nonfiction titles that focus on social thought, self-analysis, and more. Let's jump right in. Malcolm Gladwell is a writer, journalist, and public speaker. He has worked as a reporter, science writer, and New York City bureau chief for The Washington Post, a staff writer for New Yorker magazine, and has gone on to become an author, penning several books and co-producing a podcast with a friend. Gladwell was born in England and raised in Ontario, Canada, by his black Jamaican mother, who was a psychotherapist, and his white British father, who was a professor of mathematics and engineering. Malcolm earned his bachelor's degree in history from the University of Toronto, Trinity College, Toronto, in 1984. In his first book, The Tipping Point: How Little Things Can Make a Big Difference, Gladwell describes human behavioral patterns and how seemingly insignificant factors can build into momentous changes. Ideas or trends that take root in the human mind and society are explored and viewed through the lens of three laws that Gladwell creates in his musings. These laws are the law of the few, the stickiness factor, and the power of context. The author substantiates his theories with research and case studies focusing on everything from how the television show Sesame Street became such a success to the factors that motivated infamous New York City subway shooter Bernard Goetz to open fire on his perceived attackers. Muriel Odell Lambert, writing in the American Prospect, praised the book for the vigorous activism it champions. The book was also widely embraced by the business community. Ivy Business Journal writer John S. McCallum noted that the book is full of astute observations and excellent suggestions for executives who must manage change. Gladwell's next book, Blink: The Power of Thinking Without Thinking, presents his belief that people should rely on instinct and ability to make snap decisions. With this adaptive consciousness, a person can assess situations and make quick decisions. The author also points out circumstances where snap judgments can be wrong, such as in the case of a shooting by police officers of an innocent man in New York. New Republic writer Richard A. Posner commented that many of the issues discussed in Blink are obscured rather than elucidated by Gladwell's parade of poorly understood yarns. However, the reviewer further notes that the book contains interesting and even illuminating facts. The acclaim and success of Gladwell's first and second titles presented him with fame and fortune. Outliers, the third title in Gladwell's authorship, centers around the subject of why some people are high achievers who gain great success. Examinations include a swath of individuals from Amadeus Mozart to Microsoft founder Bill Gates. These achievers are coined as outliers. Independent online writer David Usborne noted that Gladwell suggests that while grit and intelligence do matter, other factors are critical in determining who makes it into the super league of achievers, such as personal circumstance, culture, and sheer luck. Gladwell points out that Gates happened to grow up in Seattle, where he had access to the latest in computer technology via the private school that he attended, Lakeside. Sports figures, musicians, and a plethora of other outliers are expounded upon within the book. Social and cultural factors are also discussed as playing a role in affecting success. What the Dog Saw and Other Adventures is a collection of 19 essays collected from Gladwell's work in The New Yorker. A variety of personalities are profiled, such as Ron Pompeo, a longtime television pitchman and gadget salesman with affable charm and sincerity, Cesar Millan, the dog trainer who is acclaimed for his management of effecting positive change in different animals, and more. Steven Pinker in the New York Times Review commented, Gladwell is a writer of many gifts. He avoids shop-worn topics, easy moralization, and conventional wisdom, encouraging his readers to think again and think different. His prose is transparent, with lucid explanations, in the sense that we are chatting with the experts ourselves. Gladwell's title, David and Goliath, Underdogs, Misfits, and the Art of Battling Giants, explores the parable of the biblical characters from a new perspective. This shift was explained by Gladwell in an interview with Religion News Science Web. I think there has been an overemphasis of the idea that David's victory was improbable. When you look closer to that story and you understand the full historical context, you see it from a different perspective. David is smarter than his opponent, better armed, and he had this extraordinary force in his heart. When you understand that perspective, you understand that sometimes our instinct about where power comes from is wrong. Thus, Gladwell's book explores how obstacles are perceived and further explains how this perception affects politics, education, and culture. The Revisionist History Podcast and Talking to Strangers. In 2016, Jacob Weisberg, editor-in-chief of Slate Group, which owns Monopoly Media, convinced Malcolm Gladwell to create a podcast. Seasons 1 through 3 were produced by Monopoly Media. In 2018, Gladwell and Weisberg co-founded a podcast company, naming it Pushkin Industries, producing a 4th season in 2019 and a 5th season in 2020. The Revisionist History Podcast is touted as Malcolm Gladwell's journey through the overlooked and misunderstood. This line is included in the podcast's opening moments. A question is posed about an event, person, or idea, and then a conversation commences. Talking to Strangers, What We Should Know About the People We Don't Know, Malcolm Gladwell's 6th title, released in 2019. The book studies miscommunication, interactions, and assumptions people make when dealing with those they are unfamiliar with. Conversely, Gladwell covers a variety of events and issues, including the arrest and subsequent death of Sandra Bland, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain's interactions with Adolf Hitler, and the sex abuse scandal of Larry Nassar, to name a few. The Truth to Vault theory by psychologist and communication studies professor Timothy R. Levine acts as a basis for discussion. The theory is utilized within the book to observe how human beings are by nature trusting, not only of people or technology, but of everything. Hope you enjoyed the video. For more information on Malcolm Gladwell, his books, and his podcast, visit www.gladwellbooks.com. Gladwell's Revisionist History Podcast can be found on revisionisthistory.com, divided by season and available for free on a variety of podcast streaming platforms like Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and RSS. And for a deeper breakdown of his titles and accompanying professional reviews, explore the Novelist Database, which can be reached on the Fort Bend County Library's website within the section entitled Databases. Thanks for watching. Until next time.